Hi everybody, Ben here from Art Less Ordinary. So I'm going to do a flip cup today, but I have finally got a little bit of Elmer's glue oil. So I'm going to use that as my pouring medium. I made it 70% glue, 30% water. So I just want to see what difference I get with whether it gives me better effects or not. It does seem a little bit thicker than my clear glue. So I've had to kind of adjust things a little bit. So I have black. I'm just checking the consistency as I do this. I have white. So white feels thicker when I stir it, but it dribbles into the cup the same. I'm not sure. I have light purple. I have turquoise, which always feels thin. I have phthalo blue, and I have purple. Now, before I go any further, my phthalo blue is thicker. So I usually make these up about half an hour beforehand and just see what happens, and I can tell that this is a little bit thick. So just a tad more. So these were mixed quite about 1.5 parts pouring medium to 1 part paint. It's hard to show with my lighting, but it's leaving a mound, but not a huge amount. Now, to these, I am going to add some silicone oil. I have helmars silicone oil. I will do 3 drops in each. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to put it in all colours, black and white, because it's a flip cup, not a swipe. So I want everything to be relatively even. I give it a little bit of a stir. You can stir it more or less. The more or less you stir it, the more or less your cells will be larger or smaller. I like my silicone to be mixed in quite well. That's just what I find I like. And I may have too much paint, so I've got 35 grams paint, and then between 51 and 70 grams pouring medium. I'm going to do 3 cups, and now I just have to work out what order I want to do these. So we've got a dark, maybe a light, then we'll go a dark, a light, a dark, and a light. So I'm going to have the black next to the turquoise and the light purple, because they're both opaques and they will kind of hold that black off from being a little bit too much of a bully. And I've got the white next to the 2 darker colours, the purple and the phthalo blue, so they will give me slight different tones if it does decide to mix. But I'm going to go this way. So I'm not going to put a lot in. I'm probably only going to get about 2 layers, I think. So I'm just pouring them down the side of the cup. So they're layered, not blended. And if I don't use all my white, that's because there seems to be a little bit more white. I think that was one I had to, the black and the white, I had to mix more pouring medium to. And then I think the white felt a bit thin, so I had to add more paint to it. So the black and white are always a little bit different to work with. But I love these colours together, and I'm hoping that I get the desired effects that I want. I think I stirred. Who knows? Give it a stir again. Not gonna hurt. So always just be a little bit careful with your blacks and your whites in flip cups. They can take over. They can be bullies. Some colours are bullies in general. I also find orange to be a bully, and green can as well. So yeah, I always hear good comments about the glue wall, and I could only find a little, well, within the price range I was willing to pay. I haven't been able to find a 2-litre bottle of it here. I can only find a little, I think it's nearly 1 litre, and it was not very cheap. So I thought I would just get one and try it, because I normally use my clear glue. It's a lot more economical, and it's one I'm actually able to get where I live. So that's what I've always used. But you do also get slightly different reactions with different paints. So I'm just wondering what this is going to do differently. Better put my lid back on my silicone. Oops, that was a bit of extra white. And I didn't spray my cups with anything. I forgot about it. I sometimes spray my cups with a silicone spray. Spray it, then wipe it out, just to help the paint come out of the cup better. But I didn't, and I'm not going to worry or stress over it. It's not a necessity, it just helps you not waste so much paint. Oh. We're getting there. So usually your turquoise is always a thinner paint. I've found that with every brand so far, that my turquoise is thinner than all the other paints. So you learn your paints as you use them more. If you always use the same brands or something, you'll end up learning which colours are different and which colours you need to be a little bit more careful with your adjustments with. Alrighty. I've got a little bit of white and a little bit of black left over, but I'm not going to put that in because I don't want them to take over and make my artwork completely one colour or the other, because sometimes it can become very black or very white if you use too much. I will put them over this side so they're more out of my way. So yeah, I'm quite happy to try out this glue wall. I've used the school glue and I've used the clear glue. I like the clear glue better than the school glue, and we will see if I end up liking this glue wall better than the others as well. Okay, so I'm just going to flip them. Oops. There's always one that does that. Now, why they settle down and the paint comes more from the base of the cup, I'll put my gloves on ready, which I have put somewhere. There we go, they're right next to me. Still hiding underneath a packet of potato chips that I found them last night. I have a corner catcher ready in case I need to catch the excess paint going off the corners. I also have my blowtorch ready. And I think that's about it. Alright, this should be enough now. They hopefully have settled enough. So I'm going to tilt. And I might just leave that there. Tilt. Oops. Okay, as you can see, it's quite dark already. I'm just stopping the paint from going over the edge by lifting it slightly. Getting some nice cool cells popping up already. So I don't always use the corner catcher, but I have it there just in case. So these three bottom bits you will probably be tipped off. I've just got them there so there was extra paint. So there's a bit of paint here because I can feel the weight of it. So I'm just moving it down slowly, going back and forth. The middle always seems to get the heavier spot first. So I'm going to go over this corner now. Okay, over, come back. Now I'm going to come down to this corner. I'm not going to use the corner catcher because I want these extra bit from the cups to go over the edge. Over and back. So I'm bringing the paint back to the center. And now I'm moving side to side, going up to the top. I'm going to use my corner catcher up here. My cells are getting quite big, so I'm hoping I can catch all this paint before I tip too much off. Okay, caught the paint. Take the corner catch away. Bring the weight of the paint back down to the center. Not all the way. Now I'm going to corner catcher this corner. So I can definitely feel the weight of the paint. Okay, there's that there. I'm going to take that away. Just chuck that there. Now, I'm going to bring the paint down a little bit. And then I'm going to tilt off this top corner again. And even up these two lines that are in the middle. go over. There we go. There was a little bit too much black in that one corner I didn't like. And that was my time to remove it. Okay. Just checking my corners and making sure that there is paint on them. Just have to lean forward and check these without getting any drips from my fingers onto the canvas. Okay. Alright, so I have paint on all sides of my canvas, which means I can get my gloves off because I'm not going to tilt anymore. So this is one thing I've noticed with this. It didn't used to happen before, but the last few times I have got my mont black paint, it has created these little fractals, which are kind of like unusual shaped cells. They kind of come up a little bit fuzzy shape instead of being round. But it's only ever happened with the black, and it's only happened the last few that I've actually got. So I'm not quite sure why it's doing that. Now I'm going to torch it to see if I can get a couple of little cells come up, but if I torch this too much I will get big tons of cells, and I don't want tons of cells. So always just go easy with your blowtorch or your heat gun or whatever you're deciding to use. Okay. I'm getting a couple of little cells forming. But I'm not going to overdo it yet. I'm going to let them do their thing. So, also, your different brand silicones will also give you different, different cells. I have learnt that too. I haven't got Spot On, which I heard is probably one of the better ones. And I do want to get it because I think it does actually give you different types of cells compared to using helmars or what is the other one I've got? Marte silicone. But I won't know till I actually get it and try it. It might actually work out to be the same. So I'm now just scraping the excess paint off the bottom of the canvas. So on the lip. It's also a good way to tell if you're losing paint off one corner because it's too heavy or not. So for the moment, I've got mostly quite large cells, which they were the ones that popped up before I started tilting. And I did torch and bring up a few smaller cells, but if I torch it too much, I'll end up just getting all cells and not much background. I've got my join a line here and there from where the flip cup, so that was one cup, second cup, third cup. There is multicolours in there. And when you do these, you will notice you always get slightly different results. So you don't usually always get exactly the same each time. Flip cups are good for people that are just starting out and just want something cool. And it is a way of, with fluid art, just getting something completely random and just hoping that it's turned out the colours and the shape that you like. But the paint on this is quite thick still. I can feel that it was thick by two things, the weight and the way that the paint was moving. So if you have it really thin, your cells get even bigger again. See how the ones I've torched have come up quite smaller and neater? That's because they haven't been stretched by tilting the canvas different directions. And this is that little line of fractals that I told you about, that the black has done. It's only done it in that one spot. But I like this. I like the colours. The cells are a little bit more different to how I have got in the past. Sometimes I do mine quite thickly and I just get tons of little cells. I purposely make them thick, knowing I'm only going to get tiny little cells like the size of these ones. And that's the way that you do things a bit differently. Make your paints thicker or thinner. Change it up just so you get different styles. But I'm not going to torch this anymore because I will end up filling in all these gaps with cells and you will kind of lose part of the picture. But that's just what I'm doing this time. Next time I may torch the whole lot really heavily and see what turns out then. So this is it. Flip cup. I don't know if I really would say that the glue all was any different to the clear glue, apart from it just feels heavier. Feels heavier and thicker. So I could probably mix my clear glue to a different ratio. Instead of 70-30, maybe an 80-20, and see if it turns out very similar to this or not. But I'm going to get the camera, bring you down for a close-up. Is it recording? Yes, it is. Sorry, the little timer was inside the white, so I couldn't see it. But see, nice big cells. They are different shaped, not completely circular, but that's because these come up and then you start tilting back and forth and they stretch. And that's just what happens depending on when the cells actually decide they're going to form. We've got a kind of a cool thing going on down here. But I like these colours together, so that's always a good bonus. These are the cells that came up with me torching, these little ones in here. And these are the unusual fractals that I get here. And they're not cells, they're actually just a reaction between black and other coloured paints. And I don't know why it does it. Never used to. Okay, so there is my 3 flip cup with purple, light purple, phthalo blue, turquoise, black and white. I hope you guys like this, and if you want to make it more lighter and less dark, put less black in, put more white in, mix it all up, change it the way that you like. So, hope you enjoyed it, have fun, and I'll see you soon for another pour. Okay, catch you later, bye.